Hello, everybody, and welcome again to another edition of For Those Who Believe, this wonderful podcast bringing together all the sons and daughters of the Casa from all over the world. And we are certainly seeds planted right across the planet right now in 2025. And I have today with me one of the most beautiful souls I met in Abidjan, and that's saying something because I met thousands of people. Renee Ette, and you are in France at the moment, but
Yes,
your journey started in Trinidad and Tobago, and I want to talk to you about that. And before we get kicked off right into the all things Casa, I want to thank João de Dias for bringing us together because without him and his mission, we would never have met.
absolutely.
And our lives have been enriched by all the sons and daughters that we have met over the years. And now we are connected on this very high level going forward. So, you are very welcome. I just want to ask you how you got to the Casa, because everyone's journey is different, how it changed us. You came with your family and what we learned there. And then going forward into 2025. Well, we start off with how did you learn about the Casa, Renee?
Mhm. Well, thank you, Grainne, for asking me to do this. It's quite an honor, and I feel very blessed. Thank you. So, in 2014, my husband at the time, so we're no longer together, but we're on very good terms. He was not well at all, and he was going through, one could say, like a nervous breakdown, but a lot was going on, and we didn't know what was happening. And I was really at the end of my tether, and I was praying and sort of throwing up arms and saying, God, please do something. And somebody said, why don't you go to Machu Picchu? Somebody said, why don't you take him to, like a clinic in the States, which was thousands of dollars, and they wanted the patients to arrive drugged. So I said, well, absolutely not, for many reasons. And then my friend, very good friend, said, well, if we're going the esoteric way or the spiritual way, not necessarily esoteric, what about John of God, in Brazil? And I heard about John of God in Brazil from another very good friend. And I said, sounds good. And I just felt a peace come over me. And I said, sure, let's see what this is about. And I started to pray. And as I started to look into that, things just started to open up. A week later, my mother came back from the hairdresser with a big spread. She says, John of God, this is what you're thinking of? And she opens like a 3-page spread in a magazine that she would not usually look at. Um, Big spread on John of God. And I said, that's so strange. And then somebody else spoke about John of God. And I said, okay, Lord. Because I always ask the Lord, if you want me to do something, tell me 3 times. Because sometimes we're a little bit stupid, a little bit deaf.
Trinity.
And I got my 3 confirmations. And I said, okay. So I said, well, okay, I don't know where to go from here, because to get from here, I mean, he was not well at all. We had young children, we had a restaurant, we had just closed it, we were doing catering, but it was just like really a lot to handle. I felt like I was dealing with everything alone. We had 2
Yeah.
dogs. And so I said, Lord, if you want us to go to this place, then, you'll make it happen. And the money became available for us to visit. So in 2014, we came to the Casa for 2 weeks. And it was from that moment there was life changing, because I went to Brazil with the attitude of, well, you're the sick one, you're the one that needs help. I'm taking you to the Casa because you're crazy, you need help. We get there and, talk about being like truth smart, spirit and way of making us very humble. So Vittorio went to the meditation, he was very, very good, and he didn't give any sort of opposition. But I was like, well, you're the sick one, so I'm going shopping. I want to go and look at some crystals, And it was very funny because I don't know if I could call names, but I had met Nishavidad, and she came out of nowhere and tapped me on my shoulder. And she says, "Você em corrente? Are you doing corrente current?" And I said, well, no, my husband is there. He's the one that needs it. And she says, no. You need to go to corrente. You have to go to current, go to the meditation. So I said, okay. I said, well, it's a bit long and I'm not really into all of that. I said, okay, well, I'm going to try this current. I mean, I pray, but I never did that kind of meditation before. So I go inside there. Vittorio is doing very well. He's very obedient, following the things. And he's like, this is great. He was starting to feel better. I was the one giving a lot of resistance, a lot of bucking coming from my end. And I too needed serious soul healing and healing on soul, So the first time I did the current, which was difficult, which was the long, 4 hours of current in meditation and you were, that's when I first met you actually. And you had me because I was, sitting next to a guy who was very agitated. So you moved me and then I tried to escape to go to the bathroom. And then another lady found me and said, weren't you in the current? And I said, yes, but I'm leaving because I'm not feeling well. She goes, no, 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 no. You've started it. You open it up and you have to go back in and finish it because it's not good for you. I was like, bloody hell. These people won't let me, won't leave me alone. So I went back in and it was just me being, my spirit was being my worldly spirit, my ego was being broken down very gently, very beautifully. But I felt such excitement to leave and to go and to just do like as if I was on holiday and like my sick husband was the one getting help. And in fact, he was the one that was doing brilliant. And I was being the complete idiot and arrogant, and I am the one that knows everything, So the first week was by the Friday I was just submitted and I said, okay, Lord, thank you. And I'd asked him again, if I need to know something here, please let it be clear. Because that was it. He was telling me, he said very gently, I think you should go to the current because it's very beautiful. And I said, just please leave me alone. I don't want anything from you right now. I don't want anything. So again, because it was also very difficult. I was quite upset. I was very hurt. I was very angry. So there was just a lot going on with me and with us. And just like, we just felt so abandoned, So God tried to go through him, but he sent other people. And then I went into a store. I actually went into a crystal store. And a woman told me, I forget her name, very nice. She said, have you been to current? I said, this is bloody incredible. This is the third person now asking me if I've been to current. She refused to sell me crystals. Refused. She said, you go to current, and when you finish current, come back tomorrow and I'll sell you all the crystals you want. And I was like, wow. I said, okay, Lord, message received. Thank you. I am sorry. Yeah. I get it. I don't know what's going on, but I accept. And that Friday, that was the Friday, and I went in and I did like 5 hours of current, which was beautiful. I mean, it felt like it went in 20 minutes. I cried. I slept. I got up. I mean, it was, well, I never experienced that in my life, and the guided meditations by you and then different rooms and everything. And it was beautiful. That was the first week. And then we met everybody and the Fruities and the San Rafael and everything, just the whole Abajania family. And so when we first went, that was just Victoria and myself. The children did not go. So the second week now, when we came, sorry, what?
What year was that?
2014, when we first came. I think that was June, maybe April, May, around there, 2014. And I was very nervous because we had reached a point with him where he basically told me, I am in a mess and I cannot go back to Trinidad. I cannot go back to that house. We need to move again. It was like this house, everything was a problem. And he was telling me that we need to uproot the family again and find a solution. And I said, I cannot do this anymore. So basically, Abajania was the point where I said, God, take over. I cannot move my children again. I don't know where to go. I don't know what to do. I was just desperate. And I said, Lord, okay, you're doing a mighty work on me, but I'm not asking you anything. I'm not telling you anything. You know what is waiting for me when I go back home. So please. So in the meantime, I was speaking to my mother, and we had a lady who was praying because we'd had like a lot of demonic activity in the house in Trinidad, a lot. And Victoria was very susceptible to that, and it was affecting the children. There were things were going on. Good.
And there's 3 children. Three beautiful children.
Thank you. And we had all been, I was doing a lot of prayer with him. This is before we had come to Brazil. And I felt, so every time I would pray, things would, simmer down. But when I left, I had a lady, very, very beautiful soul, Leno, who said she would go and she would pray and try to clean out whatever was there, And the second week, we passed in front before the entity. And I did not tell Mommy, who was in Trinidad, what day I was going. Nobody knew what was going on. I just said, Mommy, pray, please. And she was with Leno. And the day we passed in front of the entity for the first time, he just said like this. He said, it's done. It's over. Like just with his hand, he said, failure of my son, my daughter, it's over. And he touched Victoria on his head and just said, it's over. And my mother called me that night and she said, Renee, the house has gone from total darkness to total light. Total light. She said,
oh my God, that's amazing.
Yeah, it was very powerful. And the thing is, she did not know what we were doing. She could not have known the timing because I wasn't really in touch with anybody. But it was the same moment, literally like within the hour, because Mommy wrote me right after we had come out. She said, Mommy, Renee, you're not going to believe Leno just was praying for the house and she did a drawing, and I don't know, she does like a lot of like energy work and things. And she said the house is completely, she said it's like white, brilliant, fluorescent light all around the land and the house. And apparently that particular house had issues which had nothing to do with us. We had our own stuff going on, but because we were...
That's true.
Right, and it was I think it was like a burial ground, something strange. So anyway, I'm not even going to go into that, but it was not okay. And maybe a normal family who didn't have all that stuff open up would not have felt anything, but we all felt it. Even the animals felt it. And we were like, we need to get the hell out of there, So long story short, that was the first trip. And Victoria said to me, so that was the Wednesday of the following week. But then by the Friday, I was saying, Lord, how am I going to get him to go back home? And he said, Renee, everything is fine. I can go back home now. Everything is fine. And I said, Lord, you are too good. I said, we have received a miracle. And people may not believe, but I know what I am living. And he was like backpedaling to he did not want to go back to Trinidad. He did not want to go back to the house. When we left, he was on my mother's couch in her home. He was no longer in my home. So when we reach your mother-in-law's couch, we need to do something very drastic.
Absolutely.
So we met so many beautiful people, and what was even more amazing, we met a gentleman that was interested in doing business with us, which never came to fruition because for a number of reasons. Victoria wasn't well, but when we left Abidjan, the entity, he was told, Victoria, to come back in 6 months, and for us to come as well, and we could not justify and sort of make that move just like that. The man was sent to us to say, come to Brazil and we will do business together, because Victoria was a chef and we were going to do pasta and we were going to sell it to the different hotels and posadas. There was a business plan in place and it didn't come to fruition. But I think that without that man coming to us, his name is Carlos, a very kind soul, and we all stayed by posada. Anyway, I should say who it is. I can't remember. Very sweet, Claudio. And we had Claudio. And he was so beautiful and his wife was so lovely. And I just felt like we have been handpicked, brought here like in a little blanket, put down here to lay our little heads down and just to think about, okay, what next? And it was so strange. And I'm a practicing Catholic and I don't know about spiritism and all of that. And I wasn't going into all of that at all. But I just found everybody was so devout and so sweet and so truly Christian. I felt the love of Jesus. I felt what I knew from my mother, from my granny, why I am Catholic. That sweet love of Jesus and Mary. I felt that in Abidjan. And I said,
it's there.
This is real. This is real. This is not nonsense. This is not black magic. This is not craziness. And I am not crazy. This is real, So we left, we got back, came back home. Everything was brilliant. We had the most blissful time with the family. That first month when we came back from Abidjan, my children started, Jory in particular, just started to have all kinds of, he was seeing our Blessed Mother, Yanael was having dreams, they were seeing angels. It was real supernatural, beautiful phenomena. I had experiences. Sahara, I mean, it was all of us were having experiences, and I was so excited. But Hijori said, "Mommy, you're too excited to connect with them. You need to relax. You need to settle down." Because I was saying, "I'm not seeing anything. No one's appearing to me. Like, what's going on?" He says, "Mommy, you're too excited. That energy, you need to calm down. You need to calm down." And I was just like, "How does this child know?" But he knew, and of course, the children know. They know a lot better than us. And it was beautiful, and it was a beautiful time. It was still difficult, but it was beautiful. And so Vittorio left in October
Yeah.
or November. And even his leaving, he got a really good job just before he left. I said, how gracious is God that you could leave with making your own money. You didn't have to get a handout from anybody. He allowed you to leave in honor and grace because we had a really difficult situation. It was really painful. It was really, really painful. But it was good, very humbling, you know. And
Sorry, Renee, what year was that? That was the
that
second
was
time you came back.
till 2014. So Vittorio went to Abidjan in October, November 2014. And then the idea was that I would meet him with the children and the dogs in 2015. But I had no money. I had no money because we were working little jobs. But I mean, to leave, to go was a big step. Plus we were paying off things, and it was very difficult. And I got a call one day from a very beautiful woman called Lorraine O'Connor, and she said, "Would you like to do the food for a big soca artist called Marshall Montano in Trinidad?" And we did the food for them, and it was a massive job, like 5 days. It was for a movie, with dinner and lunch. I mean, it was from God and through Lorraine.
Yeah.
At first, the lady didn't, the person who was supposed to approve it, didn't really want to deal with us. And then Lorraine said, "This is a really great family. They're great." And so Vittorio he wasn't there, but he was doing all the preparation, and we got somebody to do the food for us. And that's how we left Trinidad. And then I was also doing real estate, and I had beautiful people help me get out, and everybody, even coming down to leave in. I mean, I literally had to wait. I knew Jesus told me, "Prepare your things. You're going to be leaving now this week." And I said, "Jesus, I have no money. I didn't cash a check. I have no tickets. Prepare yourself. Prepare the children." And I said, "Okay."
Trust.
And trust. And I remember Jory said, "Mommy, but the day we were leaving," he said, "Mommy, I don't mean to be bad, but I don't think anyway." And Yanni, my second son, said, "Mama, you know how they work. Don't listen to them. Jory's going into the world. Don't listen to them. Stay with God." Stay with God. You know,
That's
we
so
know how
lovely.
it is. Thank you, Annie. And I hugged him. I was crying. And I said, "Y'all, we are leaving tomorrow or today." I said, I don't know. I don't know. My girlfriend called me. She says, "Renee, if you do not have a ticket, I'm not taking you to the airport." I said, "Can you please just have faith?" She said, "Renee, I'm sorry. It's ridiculous." I said, "Okay." I had a check from my aunt that was money from the family for me, but I was not able to check. I don't know. And I had a friend who was able to open it. I mean, a lot of very, very strategic things that needed to be done. And I was so nervous that I almost signed the wrong name on the check. And if I'd done that, that would have been it. I would not have been able to go anywhere. That check, I was able to cash it, pay. I got to the airport, bought the tickets for the children. So it was me and the 3 children. And I sat on that plane, Rania, and I just thought, I said, "Lord, I don't know where I'm going. I don't know what I'm going, but I know you're with us. Entities, thank you, thank you, thank you." I just bawled and cried my eyes out for like a long time. And 2015, and we got to Abidjan, and Vittorio had gotten a house for us and everything. And he was still not doing too well. He had a really hard time by himself. And we'd stayed together for a while in that house, in the greenhouse. You know the greenhouse?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
That's where we were. And that's a whole other story. But we had nice times there. But then in October, November, the entity had suggested that Vittorio, because he was not well, he needed to really be by himself. So we got him an apartment, like a little studio in town, and then we got a little house near to the brick factory where I was living. And that was not at all a house that, to me, that was a decent house. But I looked at the situation for the children. I said there was freedom. There were cows in the land. There were horses. There was a river down below. There was galvanized and a little hole in the roof. I said, "Lord, I'm not looking at this." I just need to provide a nice place for the children, and they were being homeschooled, and they were riding. It was so much freedom, and I was doing the Casa, and I felt like we were in so much security, and we were being so taken care of. Even though there were at times, I did get criticism about you have your children here in this place with sick people, and I didn't think or feel that at all. I said, well, there are all kinds of people in Abidjan. I've met
Yes, of course.
there's the rainbow. We have all the colors of the rainbow, and unfortunately for me, I attracted only good people to us. And Yanael was learning jewelry with Pato, one of the guys on the road there. He's an indigenous, Pato, an indigenous
Yeah,
Indian.
amazing.
Then
Yeah,
Nara, who was teaching
he's
Sahara
still there.
how to do crochet, and she was making little purses, and I was doing my Casa days because I was a daughter of the Casa, and I became a guide, and
Good.
Jory was working with Marco, who had the crystal shop and was
Yeah.
selling crystals, and everybody was busy, and we
Yeah,
were learning things.
working with energy.
It was beautiful, and I know for sure that I got very sick in Abidjan, and one day in Fruities, and I was eating an acai, which I miss so much.
I
And
know, me too.
oh my Lord, we need to do something, Ronnie. I need acai, please.
Get the right stuff
And
here.
Fruities
Crap
acai.
in our.
And I was upstairs in Fruities, and I felt terrible, terrible stomach pain. Like I felt like I was gonna die. I said, "This is mad." I couldn't even walk, and I was upstairs, so nobody could see that I was upstairs. And of course, I didn't have a cell phone or anything, and I just started to pray, and I just started to pray. I said, "Lord, send help, please." And one of the girls came and said, "You okay?" I said, "No, I'm not okay, but I can't move, so something's gonna happen." And Ina, sweet Ina, arrived. She said, "I was just passing by." She says, "Oh, it's you. I got the call." Ina arrived. Jeffrey arrived. He was on the other side of Abidjan. So was Jory. Two of them saw each other on the bikes, and both of them were like, "Mama," and Jeffrey said, "I know. I got the call." Nobody has a cell phone, huh? Nobody has a cell phone.
No, no such thing.
Jeffrey was in the line to the bank and said, "Oh gosh, I'm gonna go. I know Renee needs me, but I need to just talk to this banker." When he pulled the number 911, he said, "Okay, I have to go." He
Wow.
saw Jory on the way. They came. They did not know where I was, but they came up. They took an educated guess fruities. Came upstairs. Ina did some work on me. Um. Then Tranka came by.
Lovely.
Jeffrey was able to get me home. Sorry, 1 second. Can I just do pause for a minute?
Yeah, no problem.
Sorry. I think 1 second.
No problem.
No, sorry. Oh gosh. Oh Lord. Okay. And everything was fine. I was in bed for like a week, and I felt like I was getting an upgrade because I'd asked God to do whatever He needed to do to get me to where I needed to be, and I was seeing like almost when I'd close my eyes, I'd see like a motherboard of like a computer, and I would see like green lights and like lights, and I'm not at all a scientific person. I'm not a mechanical person at all, and I kept seeing this like I felt like I was being reprogrammed.
You are.
And I think it was just incredible. And in the meantime, Vittorio had a very hard journey, very hard. I mean, he was taken to the pits of hell and back. He is healed now today. Thank you, Jesus.
Thank you, God.
Anya was the base, bad, nasty work that needed to be done. And when he left Abidjan, he went on to continue the work in a place in Italy. And then he came to France, and then he's good. He says, Renee, he told me 2 years ago, he apologized for everything which he had not done. He apologized to the children. And he said, Renee, I wake up in the morning and I am so happy. And I said, Lord God, you could take me now. Like my suffering, not that I want to go anywhere, of course not, but my suffering, what we went through was not in vain, And I really do thank Medium Joao because I only received love and support from him and from everybody there. and
The
we were
entities and the humans.
and
The
the
humans.
absolutely, absolutely, we were protected. And I know that people have said all kinds of things, and I know that there was some kind of special bubble around my children and myself. And
Yes.
Victoria would tell me, says, Renee, when I'm with you, I experience one sort of energy and experience. And when I'm by myself, it's very different. I said,
Mm.
well, so what are you doing? Because we would pray all the time. I was also praying with people. I was going to Mass every weekend. I was taking people to church. I started going to Trinidad by myself, and people would come with me.
Beautiful.
I ended up taking
High
about
eternal. Oh, the Trinity.
by
It's,
10. I look
I
at
love it's an amazing pilgrimage. Oh my God, it's so powerful. Thank you for
that.
that.
It's amazing.
Trinidad is amazing.
Trinidad, and I come from Trinidad and Tobago, and there was a man who you probably know him. He's an old man on a bike with tons of flags and things. If you've seen
Yes.
these
Yeah.
people, and he was going to Trinidad, and I said, Trinidad. I said, I'm from Trinidad and Tobago. He says, you must go to Trinidad. And again, somebody else towards the end, because we left in September 2016. So August 2016, we were going to Trinidad. And a lady said to me, you must go to Trinidad. And after I went, she says, your work in Abidjan is over. You need to leave now. And I said, okay then. Well, all right then. Because we were planning to just come for a few months. And when I went to see, before I left, I can just say, I hope I can say it's okay. Medium Zhao just told me, I know your work. I thank you for your work. And I know what you've been doing. And yes, your work is done. And I felt, and I told him I wanted to come to France. He said, it is going to be even more beautiful than you can imagine. And he blessed us all. And I just felt that how blessed was I, and how much grace did I receive and my family.
Exactly.
And so we came to France in 2016 in September, all together as a family. It was hard to come back just coming back into normal life with people on
I
phone,
know. It's like
bank
walking on the moon.
accounts and work. And I'm just like, bloody hell. And people think that you're crazy. And like my friends, when I went back to Trinidad, they were like, we were very concerned about you going to that place, that place in Brazil. I said, well, fortunately, I didn't have a phone because that was the first thing I did when I got on the plane leaving Brazil. I threw my phone away. I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm not available. And but it's loving people that it did. I appreciate their concern, but I needed to do that. But my
You're
girlfriend
in
said,
a
"Oh,
cult. I
sorry."
think a lot of people may have, I know I got accused many times of being in a cult,
Yeah, yeah,
and I never reacted. I just said, so be it.
mm,
If that's the way you feel about my life, what other people think of me is none of my business. But
yeah.
it did look cult-like because we wore white
For
and
sure.
you were in current and you were following the leader and the entities and unseen beings. And it did sound like a cult, but I knew that God was there.
Totally. And I knew that God was there. I knew that I was not in a cult. And it's so funny. So I posted this on Facebook. People are like, like a real cult. And I said, this is where everybody thinks that I am, but I'm actually here. It was hilarious. And I just, you have to be able to laugh at yourself. You have to be able to take things very lightly because we were going through so much heaviness
Upgrading. Yeah,
and
but you upgrading.
intense intensity. And I mean, I received messages from people I didn't know. I learned so many things, learned about the courts of heaven. I learned so many things that I've put in my backpack today. And what I am doing now, I am studying to become a naturopath, but in France, because of course we are laïque in France. And I arrived in Trinidad, in France, so excited to spread the good news. And I was told, oh, it's so good, c'est super, on a une bonne sorcière. We have a good witch, you're a white witch. And I said, oh my Lord. I said,
Yeah,
I am practicing Catholic. I pray with people, but I was very habité. How you say that? I was very was it
open and high.
I was guided by that. So here, France people don't really talk about religion, and it's not at all. Even they could be very spiritual, but they don't discuss it. It's very private, and so I had to bring it down a notch or two. I said before I launch into anything, I need to understand where I am. But I started to pray with people and to do things, and I said, okay, I'm going to do my naturopathy, but because it's all about well-being and how to deal with stress and different things. But I pray with people, and I can lay hands, and I can use all that I had, my unorthodox spiritual education in Navajanya has given me a world of knowledge, and I can help people, and I have helped people. And I worked with Jeffrey, I worked with different people in Navajanya, and it's not about us. God really worked through us. Sorry, Grainne, I just have to go and open the door 1 second. Sorry.
No problem. No problem. For those of you joining us, this is beautiful Renee, and she's talking about her time in Abidjania, and now she's in France, and she goes to Lourdes, and she always prays for us, and she asks anybody who wants prayer brought to Lourdes, she brings them there. And she always asks me, and I always send prayers, and she's an amazing soul. And only for the Casa, we would not be having this wonderful conversation, bringing the Casa family together from all over the world. I mean, starting in Trinidad and Tobago. And Trinidad is about an hour and a half, 2 hours outside of Abidjan. It's a place pilgrimage. The Pi Eternal, there's the Eternal Father, and it's a huge high energy there. They televise a lot of services from there. And we went to Trinidad as well on the minibus. I'm just talking about Trinidad that you are
Okay.
from Trinidad, but also you went to Trinidad in Abidjan or in Goiás, where we were, and that you do bring prayers to Lourdes. So I'm bigging you up because you deserve it. You are a child of the Creator, and you extend your love to all of us always when you ask us to send our prayers to you, and I'm in total gratitude for that.
Thank
Really.
you for you too. And it's, as I said earlier, it's when you do your prayers as well, I always feel very honored, and I know that it's making a difference for us.
Yeah, it's faith. Faith moves mountains, Renee. I mean, only for prayer, I would not be sitting here today.
For sure.
I live by faith and not by sight. I know that we're looked after 100%. And your family have grown into the most amazing adults. I mean, they started as children in Abidjania.
Yeah,
You arrived with these three babes in arms, and your journey was not easy, but
no,
you overcame all the obstacles through the power of your belief and
absolutely,
your love.
absolutely. And I have I do have a story that I would like to share if I can, because
Please.
it's so powerful, and it was absolutely out of our realms. And so we had many episodes with Vittorio, and he was becoming, I believe, I don't know if it was psychotic, I don't know, but there was a lot of demonic activity again around him, and he basically told us, he wanted to burn down the house, he wanted to kill all of us, he wanted to kill himself. It was terrible, frightening. And I ran outside. We were in the greenhouse, so this was November 2015, and I ran outside crying. I told the children, I said, go. I said, get out of the house and go and get help. Go outside, because he was very angry with Jory for something really silly. And I said, get out of the house. We can't be in the house. And Yanni and Sarah were there. I said, pray. They were such good little and it's so horrible that children have to go through this. I felt now when I look back at that, they experienced trauma, they experienced mommy being afraid. I would have never wanted that for them. But at the same time, I accept it. I have asked for forgiveness, and I have also asked God to heal them and from memories and unpleasant things,
Yes, of
all
course.
spiritual. And I think that when you experience a sick parent or a sick loved one, especially at a young age, particularly a sick parent, it gives you a level of empathy and understanding that you would not have if you did not go through that. I'm not saying that it's good that you went through that. I'm just saying that from that, it can provide a lot of positive things. Anyway, so they ran outside, and I threw up. I literally said, God, help me. God, help me. I said, God, do you see what I am living? This is not possible. I said, send somebody to help. I didn't know, because it was a weekend. It was a Saturday. Or it was a Friday afternoon after current. And all of a sudden, up the roads comes a boy called Charlie. I don't know if you remember Charlie. He was French, very nice. He was,
Yes.
and he came, and I said, Charlie, because his dog was running towards our house. The dog has never come there before. He's never come to our house. The dog was coming, and he was following the dog. He said, "What's going on?" I said, "Victoria is in a bad way. I need help." Then Shenji comes up the hill. He was chasing a rectangular rainbow. I was like, I don't know. I don't want to know. I don't understand. I said, God, you can manipulate anybody for any madness to help your children. He came, and Shenji says, "Why don't we call Medium Joao?" And I said, well, he's just finished. We can't, you know. And I said, "Medium Joao, help us, do something. Help us, please. God, help us, send somebody." Medium Joao drove up there in with Chico, come as his friend, you know.
No, Chico Lobo.
Exactly. And they came, and he just moved through, and he said, "I came because you called me. I did not call him on a telephone."
Amazing.
He's never
Yeah.
said, "I would never put foot in this house. I have come to this house because you called me. Where is he?" He went downstairs, said, "You stay outside." And he took him up, he took Vittorio in his arms, held him, and just told everybody what to do. And that was it. And that was it. And that was a major, major breaking point for Vittorio's healing. And I just thought,
wow.
I have no words. And I said, Lord, thank you. And the children saw that, and we all experienced that. And everybody, people just rallied around. We ended up getting them to hospital, and we had no money. Somebody helped pay. We were able to pay them back and everything. But it was that moment of, it's in the Bible. I forget what I called you and you answered. You called, Psalm 91.
Yeah.
And I just thought, okay, Lord, this is it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. There is no question in my mind about if you're there.
And I just want to say, I have been in Abidjan 22 years, and it is very, very rare that the medium would show up
I know.
that place. This is extremely rare. And he obviously heard the call. He's a very powerful medium in his own right. He's never off duty. I mean, he doesn't do house calls, let's say.
Exactly.
So you literally had a miracle there. And ask and you will receive. And also your faith, your absolute begging for mercy and for healing for it from your heart for your husband at the time and to protect the children obviously went to the highest realms and the medium tuned into that and came to the rescue and for that thank you medium Joao and saved you like he obviously was incorporated because he always said it is God who heals. I am just an instrument in God's hands. So he was incorporated when that happened. And that is extremely rare. I have never heard of that happening before. So thank you for sharing that. Amazing.
Thank you. That's one of the most powerful stories. And thank you for listening because it was it has just stayed in my mind, and I hear the children talk about it. We don't talk too much about that anymore, but they all experienced it. And I remembered Sahara, she was maybe 7. I remember the look on her face. She says, "Mama, he's coming." She was like, I said, "Who?" She said, "He's coming." I said, "What?" And I thought I was gonna just faint. I said, I called, but I was so scared, and ashamed. I think I have deep shame, or I had deep shame, So just
which actually gets healed in Abidjan because there is a feeling. So many people I met, and you hit a nail there. You nailed it. So many people came and felt they weren't worthy to receive, or they felt shame that they were on their knees and in such a debt, and they had to ask for help from others, whether be it emotional, financial, physically, or whatever. So you nailed it there. There was a shame.
My God,
There's no need to be ashamed because we are together. We are one family, and to be able to reach out to each other, it's not easy. I mean, you were there. I saw you. You see, I saw your faith and I saw your heart, and that's why I think from the minute I saw you, and your family, my heart opened because you
Yes.
had brought blind faith with you. You were just living by faith when you arrived there, and you managed.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you were never, you know, you were being healed, and yet your faith was an example to all of us. And I wanted to say that because your family were so gorgeous, and they were in a very unusual environment for
Tot-
their age. I mean,
Totally.
I was brought up Catholic here in Ireland. I mean, I never went out to a psychic surgeon or spiritism, which is all about reincarnation, all
Absolutely.
very deep teachings, different, all Buddhism,
Yeah.
Hinduism, all of the religions are there. I mean, they're not even it's just God. The God
Yeah.
consciousness is there.
But
So for
I,
you to do that and bring your family was extraordinary, and it changed your lives. I mean, you will never look back and regret any of it
no.
because you
I,
have made them
I
people.
felt I felt that I definitely became a better Catholic after Abidjania. I learned my message in Abidjania, and Shavida was one of these people as well. Not only, but I got a recurring message: come out of your mind and into your heart. So I knew how to love God traditionally and go to mass and all of that and pray. But to really go into your heart and to really have that faith that I do now was really unlocked in Abidjania. I received a true deepening of faith in Abidjania, and I say thank God to Divina Pai Eterno and to everybody, you included, because you were a very important person for us, having Cafe Central, opening up your space to put the smile on our faces and the cloud nose on us in
Um,
difficult times, and
Fun.
it was very special, and I just feel like what was nice as well is that I know I lived that. I know I lived in a place where I did not need a telephone if I wanted to communicate with somebody. And people don't believe you, but I said I live that, and I know it's capable, and I know we are capable of it. I lived it,
Telepathy.
well, and I miss it. But
Yeah. It, it's still possible, you know. I mean, I think of things and then they manifest, or I dream of people and
mhm,
then the next day I hear from them and I
absolutely,
light candles.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So it is working on that level of consciousness. Our hearts have been opened so wide and our consciousness has exploded.
Yeah.
And as our and I'm not saying we are awake. I'm not talking about this BS
Still have
terms and
a long
you know
way to go, but something has been stirred very deeply.
yes, and opened,
Yeah.
and it's pure light.
Yes.
And we are very privileged to be part of this Casa family that
Absolutely.
despite you're in France, I'm in Ireland, all over the world, despite where we are always going to be connected. And
Yeah.
sometimes I make trips to people. I mean, next week I'm going to see a couple of people from the Casa in Ireland, but I don't have to physically see people to actually connect with them, like us now having this wonderful exchange. You know, the internet is good for something, but we are always going to be connected. And the next time we physically meet, we just pick up where we left off. It's not like we
Exactly.
have to catch up or anything. It's
No,
literally a continuation of the love and the light that we shared.
no, no.
And it was a reunion in Abidjania because people we met. I mean, I've said this before. I used to run out of the cafe and hug people, or in the casa and hug people and say, "Welcome back." And they'd say, "This is my first time here." And I used to just back off, keep it zipped,
Exactly.
knowing that I'd either dreamt about them or they were reincarnated with me before sometime on the planet. But you can't start coming out with this stuff immediately because they go, "You're going to
Exactly.
the airport."
That's a girl. It was so funny that I was in Fruities, and Fruities was very much part of my life. And
First,
her name was Laura Calderon. Very nice girl. I think she was originally from Germany, and her husband was Mexican, but she lived in France. A very sort of international character. And the children were sitting at a table, and she and I ended up chatting. And she just said, "Welcome back, honey. You're a little bit darker this time. Your hair is a little bit more curly, but I know it's you." So we laughed. And the children, when we finished speaking, they said, "Mama, looking at the two of you talk, it was like a mirror of one another. You all have the exact same hand movements, She and I have not been in touch with her for a while. I would love to connect with her, reconnect with her. But we were planning to do some things together. And I said, well, maybe it would be good to see how things go because you don't know me. She goes, Renee, I know I could do business with you. I know I could do stuff with you. Spirit has already told me that. Don't worry about it. And it was just that feeling of home. And it was a very brief encounter, but it was extremely intense. And I had the confirmation of the children just saying what they were seeing, the physical, aspect of us just chatting, that encounter. And I thought, wow, that is so uncanny,
Yeah, and it was happening all the time in Abidjan,
Absolutely.
where we were having these amazing deep connections, and it was like a reunion a lot of the times. But it was also we were supporting each other on higher levels of consciousness,
Yeah,
also. And the conversations that we were having were not your average conversations you have in a coffee shop in
no, no,
Europe or America.
no.
They were such deep level downloads from higher energies,
Yeah,
and we were actually messengers. I mean, some people maybe might have got a bit carried away with that and tried to do healing work there, but 99% of the time the messages were coming through pure and strong and true. Um, from the mouths of babes, as because we were getting downloads from the highest sources, and we're all connected. I mean, the entities, we had past lives with the entities as well, which was proven to me more times. I'm not going to get into it now because God, that'd take another podcast. So I just knew that what I was saying was from the higher realms, and it was true. And it was helpful, and people were saying stuff to me that really resonated with me and helped to bolster me up in times when it was tough, because it wasn't all love and light and happiness and joy. There were times we were down and out in we were really on the
different
3D
for
dimension,
sure. That's,
hurting,
yeah,
suffering,
yeah,
in
yeah,
pain, like you running out of your house. I mean, how painful is that? And in fear of your children. I mean, it wasn't all ha 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 Disneyland. Lock your doors or trust in God and tie your camel. I mean, there's a lot of Brazil is a tough country, life
yeah,
is cheap,
yeah,
poor, there was a bit of robbing going on and stuff. But we were there as a group consciousness
yeah,
and got thrown together in this amazing high above sea level on crystal energy with these amazing beings that sometimes manifested. I mean, after my physical interventions and also my other interventions, I started not so much seeing things, but my awareness levels got so high that they lifted the veil a few times, and I went, my God, like I was like, and I couldn't speak to people about it because it was such a high gift
yeah,
that they lifted the veils and just showed me the light, blinding, unbelievable where we're going, our home. And I was like, and they opened up the pathway to the waterfall one time, and it was
yeah.
just diamonds on the soles of my feet. I
Wow,
mean, I was like, the experiences that I received there were so extraordinary that
wow,
I'm alive. It saved my life. I mean,
yeah,
I was on a really downward spiral. I was in the comedy business, and I was a really crazy egomaniac, lunatic, partier, drugs, rock and roll, alcohol, Irish typical pints of Guinness. But all of that passed, and I have been given a new life.
yeah.
And my life is in love and service.
Yeah.
So
I think
that's what I've been. And
that's
you
that's
too.
what I want to as well. Yeah, that's my life too. And it's not always easy. And another thing, God took away the desire for alcohol in Abidjan. I a lot back in the day when I was a lot younger, but then I had kind of stopped after the children. But every now and again, I could drink,
Yeah.
and I don't drink alcohol anymore. And it just was taken away from me. Like really, the desire to drink alcohol is gone. After my first operation in 2014. Um, I never, even though I'm from the Caribbean, I don't like bananas, I don't like watermelon, I don't like papaya. I hate all of that fruit. I like temperate fruit. I like strawberries and berries and things. I don't know why. And in after my first intervention, I went to the St. Raphael's buffet and I was told, and now you must eat a little bit of watermelon, a little bit of papaya. And I put it in my mouth and I could not believe how good it tasted. I could not believe that the desire to eat this had come, that because I used to find that the papaya smell really like bad. And maybe it's a little bit different, our papaya in Trinidad, or we call it pawpaw. Maybe our pawpaw is different, but I don't know it. And Charlie, the same French guy, said, put a little bit of lemon on it and it's really nice. And I said, wow. And now I'm buying papaya. I'm telling everybody to eat pawpaw seeds and it's good for parasites and eat. And they're like, oh, you love pawpaw? And I pawpaw. And I said, well, I don't love it, but I eat it now. And watermelon. I thought, wow, that was definitely something that something changed for sure. One of those little things, but speaks volume.
Yeah, and also on some level, that was what is good for your body at that time. Because the entities are giving you what you need, and the
Exactly.
downloads what you need for your
Uh,
physical well-being. And also chewing the seeds of watermelon is really, really good because of
yeah.
the nutrients. And you nailed it just now again. The desire for alcohol was taken from me, and it was a miracle. I
Mm.
mean, I literally can go to births, marriages, and deaths. There's an awful lot of them in Ireland. I can go to any party. I'm the life and soul of the party, the first one out on the dance floor, the last one to leave.
Exactly.
And I do not have any desire
Thank God.
to be in another consciousness. I
Good.
am completely clean. I love my life. I have no desire to poison my body
Yeah.
as I did before. Before I came to Abidjania, intervention, I said, to give up drink for 40 days. I can't do that.
Yeah.
In 2003. And then it grew on me and it grew on me. And then suddenly in 2016, after my sister passed away, I had an epiphany and the desire, which is the base, the root cause of my trying to get out of my head or whatever, was completely obliterated. And
Wow.
I I I never even think about it anymore. I mean, there's booze in this house or whatever. I don't even know where it is, or I don't go looking. Like I just don't. I know I'll never drink again, which is kind of
Exactly. Just don't
relieving.
think about it. It's just not in your consciousness. It's just like not even an issue.
It's gone.
And I mean, and I'm living in wine country. I'm living in a beautiful part of France, which is the Languedoc area. So there's beautiful wine. So, and I was working with a vigneron, and I said, I don't mind selling your wine, but I would rather not. I don't mind selling your guest rooms, but wine, I don't want to. I don't want to put my hands and my energy towards that. I
Yeah.
don't. There's no problem with it. It's his livelihood, but I learned a lot about it. But I was very shocked. I just had no desire at all.
It's amazing. And going forward as well, I mean, you're going to stay in France for we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. I mean, the
No.
world is in chaos, but you are comfortable there. And when you were away there, I just took the opportunity to tell people how much I and certainly others appreciate you making a pilgrimage to Lourdes for us, because this is really the mission of
Mm.
your life, to pray for your brothers and sisters, and you, by giving, you receive. And it's such a beautiful service, and I hope you keep doing that. And being in France,
and people don't know, but it was consecrated to our Blessed Mother, our Sacred Heart, twice by the saint, by one of the kings, Louis the 15th. I think, I'm not sure. I would need to check that. But France is very sacred, holy ground. Europe had lots of saints, but different from Italy, Spain, and Portugal. France is really holy ground, and I really feel that. And it's so funny because they're so far from where we would like them to be. But it's okay. Everybody's coming back, and no judgment, but it's their story is also quite particular. But there are so many sacred sites here. I want to go to Saint Baume, which is where Mary Magdalene is, which is near to Marseille. I want to go. Well, Garabandal is in Spain, but there are places around here that I've found. There's Lunas, which is a little mini Lourdes. So I plan to be doing little retreats and just taking people, because I was doing it for myself and my family. And I thought, well, the same way I ended up taking people to Trinidad, because people would ask me, and I said, sure. And we just paid. I didn't charge anything. We just paid the taxi driver, the bus driver. But now I'm like, okay, this is something that I want. I know that I want to be able to accompany people to Lourdes and to find my journey and then to set it up nicely so that people can really just experience it, and get that healing and that blessing and make the pilgrimage, because you don't have to spend thousands of dollars to do. You really don't. You really, really don't. There's some cheap places which are nice, which are decent. If you want luxury, you can get it as well, and I'm happy to provide that as well. But my thing is to really get people in if they want to. Sometimes people just come for the drive with me, and I say, sure, we can be together. Or you do your own thing, and Lourdes is, you need like 2 nights, 3 days in Lourdes for me minimum to really get the whole thing. But it's beautiful, beautiful. I don't know if you got to see what I posted, but I
I
posted.
know. I started my Camino de Santiago in Lourdes. I couldn't immerse myself in the water, which disappointed me for about a minute, because my mother had been there and she found that very, very
Yeah,
powerful. That was her
beautiful.
most holy experience in
Yeah,
Lourdes. But I did put my feet in the water of where people were getting the water. I mean, I took
yeah,
my sandals off, and I absolutely was drawn into the energy of the basilica, and it was extraordinary healing energy. The town of Lourdes didn't appeal to me so much,
yeah.
but the basilica just drew me in like a magnet, and I had profound experiences there before I took my steps on the Camino. And I will put we can arrange to put your email address if anybody wants to get in touch with you
Oh, sure.
to or prayers, or even to take a little trip there and to support you in your work there, because this is the work of the Divine Mother. And you are bringing this energy into the world, which is so necessary now because we are so disconnected. Everybody, I mean, there is a big disconnect going on, and people are not aware of how much help we have available.
Sorry, sometimes it happened to me. Like I was feeling very off. I normally try to go to Lourdes at least 3 times a year, 3 to 4 times. And I went last year in March and I went in November. And this year, normally I would go March, but I go and I'm always very spoiled because I go when it's very quiet for some reason. And in July, it's like I always get a call. I don't plan it. My parents are in Paris now with my daughter and my son, and everybody is sort of everywhere. Everybody's away. And I just said, I wasn't sleeping properly. I was feeling so disconnected and just not myself. I don't know. And I thought, oh, you know what it was? It was heat. We were having a heat wave. And I thought, oh God, where can I go to get away from this heat? And I was looking at different mountains. And I just heard, what about going to Lourdes? And I said, thank you, Lord. I'm going to Lourdes. Because normally Lourdes is very hot. But this year it's not at all. It was the temperatures were lower than where I am. Because Lourdes is a valley. So it's quite hot and humid and very unpleasant, like July, August, I find. But I just came back last week and it was beautiful. It was like 22 degrees, very crowded, but very manageable. But I slept. I went there, I slept for 4 days. Knocked.
Wow.
I did not, I thought I was going to go and do what I would normally do. I was exhausted. I was bloated. I couldn't eat. I don't know. I was not feeling myself. I went to confession. And after that, I had the best time ever. I went to confession. I had my water gesture. I went and put all the intentions. I went before the Blessed Mother. I went and lit my candle. I walked on the grounds. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. So going to Lourdes is, I always feel the call. I'm invited and I am, come now, you need it. And I said, thank you, Mother. Thank you, Blessed Mother.
And you know, I feel the energy here in Ireland because my energy field was blown open in Abidjania. I mean, they taught me, if anybody told me I would be praying in Abidjania, 25 years ago, I would have just laughed in their
Yeah.
faces and said, "You're nuts. I'm going to be dead by the time I'm 40." But because of way of my lifestyle.
Yeah.
And my heart sings when you put out the call, because I can feel the power of your prayers. And I am honored that I can send you just a short prayer. It doesn't take a lot, my
Yeah.
intentions. And I can feel that when you bring them, I feel the energy. And that's crazy because like yourself, I'm not like a healer, or I'm not psychic. I can't
Yeah.
see through
Yeah. Yeah.
people, or I don't, I mean, I do see certain things or have very crazy dreams, like interesting dreams, but I really feel the power of prayer when you do that. So I'm really grateful that you are continuing this. Oh, because we go to the Triangle in the Casa when we were there,
Oh,
and that was always answered. So you're doing the same thing, except you're going to Lourdes to do it, and you're inviting us with you. So you're praying at the Sacred Trinity there, or the beautiful, I mean, the candelabra alone
oh,
in front of Bernadette, where Bernadette and then the statue is so sacred. I mean, I know there's a lot of people, but the light in the basilica, I mean, I was blinded when
yeah,
I
yeah,
went into the basilica to see the Divine Mother. There were so many candles lit, and
yeah,
the smell, the aroma of the flowers, and I was like, Lourdes is a very special place. So
it is.
keep up the good work.
Thank
And we're
you.
going to be finishing soon because, I mean, it's nearly an hour since we started. Doesn't it fly?
I know
Time.
time flies when you're having fun.
Exactly. And just when we're connecting, I'm just so grateful for you to bring a perspective to this work that we're doing with the podcast, because people have different experiences in their lives now, but certainly in Abidjan, different experiences. And for you to share them on that level, and some of them are not, they're painful, they're quite deeply personal. And that, to open your heart to that, is a gift. And for us, it's a huge gift because we all learn from our pain and our suffering. And
But I think
um,
it doesn't make sense. I mean, there's a part of me, obviously, that I would think, well, maybe I shouldn't say this, but I have just learned that when you are, first of all, it's not even. I believe that this is your idea to do this podcast is coming from God. So if you've asked me, it's because, as you say, I am here of service. So I prayed before I connected with you, and I said, Lord, just you manipulate my mouth and you say what you want to be said, So it's not Renee that's talking, it's God that's talking through me. So there is no ego here. There is no, it can't be, there's no room for it. So I try for it not to be anyway. And I just ask the Holy Spirit to guide me. And because who knows, as you say, if it touches one person, then our work has been done. So
absolutely. And to help one soul on the path
yeah,
who
yeah,
is feeling very disconnected and
totally.
separate. There is this whole separation in the world. It's only an illusion, of course. I
Yeah,
mean, I always pray out of separation into oneness, out of sickness into well-being, out
yeah,
of poverty into abundance. And anything is possible to God.
yeah.
So if we touch anybody with this exchange of energy and our love for sisterhood together, and we have been on the path together, and our paths will cross again. I know this because you're not that far away.
Not at
And
all. Always
um,
very welcome to come and visit me. Really, really.
yeah, and you too to Ireland. I have a house here. I mean that. It's open, and even your kids can come even without you. I mean, I
You.
give them a key and they can
Oh,
do
that's
what they want. I mean, it's not. It was God given to me.
yeah.
It's my family home. It's for everyone.
Oh,
It's to
beautiful.
be used. It's an old stone house. It's nearly 200 years
Of
old, and it's fabulous. And there's no garden, but you know what? There's a huge park down the road, and there's
course.
Church Street. The Protestant church is like 100 meters that way, and the Catholic church is 250 meters that way. So we're right on the church, and there's roses everywhere.
Oh, beautiful.
So please come. And
Well,
also,
I will
for
come.
for opening your heart to us, and bearing your soul too is so sacred, and that's not easy because we are hiding behind a veneer of everything is okay, and that's the
Yeah.
problem. We don't talk to each other on a soul level, but this is why the podcast is bringing us together on this soul level. Yes, there's days we wake up and we go, what? Like,
Just even
I can't get out
going
of
the
bed.
right
I'm
ways.
not,
I
I'm not,
tell my
I
friends
am
I
not
can't
getting out of bed.
go in the same direction. Please, I'm not ready for the world. But I am, and it's funny, and I thank you, Grainne, for reaching out, and because I'm just about to launch my self as a holistic therapist, and I'm studying my naturopathy. But in the meantime, I am doing my holistic work and praying with people and different things. and getting a crystal bed and all of these things. And I do have one or two people that I do work with remotely, online. So yes, so it's very interesting that it's sort of like you've come at the right time to sort of this is like the angel saying yes, 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 you're on the right path. Continue.
Perfect timing.
I
And
am
of course,
going
when
to
I
look
put your email
and
address,
yeah.
yeah, and then we will be in touch. And I just want to thank you for opening your heart. And we've come to the end of the podcast, but
Yeah.
then it will be continued. We will work together in the future and we will get to see each other. And I thank you from the bottom of my
Thank
heart
you.
for your truth and your spirit and your soul sharing. Oh my God, that's incredible. And the Trinidadi, I mean, oh my God, the Sacred Heart of Jesus. I
Beautiful.
mean, he's our hero. I mean, he's walking with
And this
us side by side.
right here,
I love that's the holy face of
that's my
Jesus.
book. So once
That's
he's right
our
here,
bestie.
and
That's the bestie. And here I have John the Baptist, who's a co-patron of the Casa, cousin of Jesus,
of
who
course,
never leaves me. And I mean, I have everybody. Padre Pio is here. All the entities are here. I
absolutely
mean, don't get me started. I have
right.
Rita here. I mean, everyone. So thank you, Renee, from
You
my
thank
heart to yours, and
God.
love and hugs to your beautiful
Thank
family.
Thank you, and please pray for us as I continue to pray for you, and I pray for everybody who will be looking at this, and we were indeed blessed, and we received a lot of grace to be able to have had this experience in Abidjan. I feel forever transformed. And Jory told me, he said, "Mama, I don't think if I hadn't been to Abidjan, I don't think I'd believe in God anymore."
Exactly. And that's from a teenage, well, he's not, he's grown up now,
Now,
but
and
well,
he does healing work and all of them. Sahara wanted to just be normal, and she's doing spa work and massage. She says, "Mama, when I pray with people," so she's become a very good masseuse. And I said, "But I know you have good hands." She says, "But Mama, I pray with the people because I feel that they're not good, so I pray with them." I said, "Can you imagine? You the one telling me you want to be normal and get away from all of this God craziness." So I said, "You see, God has a sense of humor. So you just have to. I just stay quiet and pray. As I say in Trinidad, I hush my mouth and I pray."
thank you for that reminder. Yeah. If you're going to say anything, say nothing at all. Just pray without ceasing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Love
I
Grania.
love you, darling. Thank
Love you.
you.
Bisous, bisous. See you
And
soon
we,
in France
and,
or in Ireland or in Lourdes, maybe. Who knows? Well, France.
well, yeah, we're going to definitely see each other soon.
Yeah,
And this will
definitely.
go out next week. So I'll
Okay,
let you know.
let me know and we'll be in touch. And you will put my email or do I need to give it to you?
Yeah, I'll put it on the bottom of
Okay.
the recording.
Thank
Yeah.
you. And
You
maybe
are